Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're Sean and Julie, and we have an Arctic Fox 275L. It was in 2019, was when it was manufactured, and we love this RV. Everything about it we love, but just like family, there's always one little uncle that's a little bit crazy or a little bit off that you just want to kick out of the family. And for us, in this Arctic Fox, it was the refrigerator.
Yeah, so in this video, we are going to tell you about the problems we had with the refrigerator that came with it and the option that we chose for making a change. Now, before we get into our solution, let's tell you just a little bit about the problem. So when we bought this Arctic Fox, we had a
Northwood.
And it's called an RV refrigerator is what most people refer to it as. And what that means is it was a dual power source. So we had the option of using it with propane or electricity, right? And it was, what is it, kind of electricity?
It's like regular 110.
Okay, yeah, because there are triple types.
It wasn't able to run off of 12 volt.
Yeah, okay. So obviously he's the power guy.
So we had a problem first with the cooling unit, and it was just one part of it. So we got that repaired, and we probably ran for another 5 months maybe. Mm-hmm. And then when we got to the hottest part of our trip, just in South Texas, the refrigerator went out again. And luckily we were able to find a mobile repair tech that could come out and take a look at it. And before we called him, I went through the book, the manual, and found the maintenance manual online and was able to troubleshoot it myself. So I pretty much told him what was wrong. He called the company for the warranty, mm-hmm. and they said that he could he was authorized to do the warranty work. So he came out and looked at it and said we figured out it was a bad cooling unit once again.
Yep.
So he got the new cooling unit and put it on and put that refrigerator in, and that lasted another, couple of months?
Maybe 6 months.
6 months, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then the cooling unit went out again. And so
we found then, I posted about it in an online forum and found out that this is a recurring problem that people are having with these cooling units. And so there were a couple of different suggestions of what you could do. And one of them was to get an Amish made cooling unit, which is made by the Amish refrigeration company, I think they said.
There's a couple of different manufacturers, yeah.
And it has better tubing. It also has a different type of airflow between the vents, it said. So you can go on the website and see what they say makes it a lot better. People really raved about it that made the switch to that. The problem is it obviously is not covered by warranty when you do that, and
it's double the price essentially of a cooling unit.
Like $1,200. So it definitely could be a good long-term solution if you want to keep a propane option on your refrigerator. But we decided we didn't really need the propane option because, we mostly run it on electricity anyway. I don't feel comfortable running propane when we're driving. So we have always, when we were driving, had it on electricity by using the inverter. And then, what kind of power draw is it though, like when we're boondocking?
It averages about 6 amps of power. And so the way we boondock, that really doesn't affect us overall. We can still go for about 6 days with our current solar, battery, and inverter setup. So what we ended up doing was going to just a regular electric apartment or dorm refrigerator, and we measured the spot here in the 275L and got the dimensions and found that the higher, it's up here somewhere, the
HAIER
brand refrigerator actually fit in that spot. It's essentially the same size as that RV refrigerator that we had, the Northwood. So we were able to take the old one out and get it disposed of and we went and purchased this. I forget where we got it.
Home Depot, I think, or maybe Lowe's. So in other words, a home improvement store, nowhere fancy.
Yeah.
For us, it was during the height of the pandemic, and so we did like curbside pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah, went and got it, put it in the back of the pickup truck, brought it back to the RV, and now Sean is going to show you how we made the switch.
One thing that we had to do before we could slide this all the way in was that this was not perfectly square. That it was off a little bit. So I had to sand down some of the edges to get the clearance to be able to slide the refrigerator in. So the first thing we had to do outside was, after removing the old refrigerator, we had to change out the receptacle that's in here. It was only a 2-prong outlet and we needed 3-prong. So I took the old one out and wired this one up, and it works great. Haven't had any issues with it. The other thing was there's some 12 volt wires that were part of the other refrigerator, the Northwood. So I just cut those and taped them off because we want to have the option of putting a propane refrigerator back in if we ever wanted to. So these were just capped off. Then I took this gas line and I capped that off as well. I used some yellow tape, which the white tape is for, excuse me, the yellow tape is for gas lines. So you want to use that yellow tape when you're capping those off. And I also used a little plumber's putty, and we have not had any issues. It's been a few months now since we switched this out, and just capping this off works great. And if we ever again want to go back to a propane refrigerator, we have this line here just in case. And that was essentially all we had to do in the backside to get the refrigerator ready, or to get the compartment ready for this traditional, more apartment refrigerator.
Okay, so let me show you the refrigerator and how much space we actually have in here. I find it just as spacious as the Northwood. I actually like this one deep drawer. Our Northwood had 2 smaller ones. So plenty of room here and in the freezer as well. But it's not an RV refrigerator. It wasn't made for RVs. So one of the things is it doesn't have that clipping mechanism that will keep it cold if it's shaking a bit when you're going down the road. So what we did is we got 4 of these little things called pad-eye brackets, I guess. We got 4, so we put 1 on each side for the freezer and for the refrigerator. And now what I do is I take bungee cords on travel day when the refrigerator's all packed and ready to go. And it's never opened on the road. It does have a little bit of give, but it has never opened on the road. Now, another thing that I use these for is, since we are part-time RVers now, anytime we're not using the RV, when it's in storage, it's a good idea to leave your refrigerator and your freezer open so that you don't get any condensation buildup there. So I do the bungee cord this way and turn off the refrigerator, obviously, and now it's not going to close, and that's going to keep any moisture from building up in there, because who wants to come back to the RV to load it up with food and find you have a little mold forest growing in there?
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and until we see you on the road,
Safe travels.